Hi, sweet friends. Jessica here. I am a knitter and a mom, and I'm going to take you along as we just did a 2-day craft fair in Mountain View, California. And so come along with us and see what it was like getting ready for the craft fair and actually selling at the craft fair. And then at the very end, I will talk numbers and tell you how we did and talk a little bit about the struggles of having a small business as a busy mom with, with 2 little kids. So you will see them make appearances in this video. And yeah, I hope you enjoy. Thanks for watching. So tomorrow we'll have to leave at 5:30. We're going to take 2 cars. That way my husband can bring the kids back, maybe around lunchtime, and they don't have to stay there the whole day because that's going to be such a long day for them. And he has to come home and let the dog out and all that. So I need to have everything ready for me to stay the entire day tomorrow. So like I said, I just finished putting my inventory in. I feel comfortable with how much stuff I'm bringing. And now I'm going to wind up some yarn so that I have projects to knit while I'm there in case there's slow parts. And I have to go to the bank and get out some more 1s and 5s. I try to take about $300 worth of change. Most people end up paying with their card or Venmo, but I want to have cash just in case. I would hate to run out, especially if my husband is not going to be there the whole day. I can't just have him, go run and get me some more 1s and 5s. So today I need to go get 1s and 5s. I need to plan and pack our cooler full of food and drinks and everything I might need for tomorrow. What else do I have to do? I washed my canopy walls, and so those are outside hanging up to dry. So I need to make sure they're dry and fold those and pack those into the bus. Yeah, just little things. I have some things that I would like to make before tomorrow if I have time. But we'll see. If I don't make them, it's not that big of a deal. I just thought it would be fun to add some more. Yeah, so here we are. It's quiet time for my kids. So they're upstairs, they're listening to their audiobooks and just resting their bodies. So I have about 45 more minutes while they are silently entertained. And yeah, I think it'll be good. My husband took the bus to go gas it up and make sure it's all ready to go for the morning. And yeah, so here we are, and I will see you guys later. All right, bye. I thought I would show you what I do with the bags for my craft fair. So I buy these just brown paper bags on Amazon, and then because branding and getting customized things is super expensive, and I'm trying to do this on a budget, what I did is I ordered this stamp with our logo, and I just used my kids' stamp pad, and then I stamp each of these bags. So this is my box of ones that are already done, and this is my pile of ones I have to do, and then there's more in that basket. So I'm gonna get stamping these, just that way I have plenty of bags, and then whatever I don't use for this craft fair, I can use for the next one. So yeah, that's a little trick that I do to save money, but still have my bags have our logo on them. Oh, and then also in the bags, I stick this little thank you card. So it has all of our socials on it, and it has a QR code to scan. So I stick all of those in the bags beforehand. That way I can just put whatever the customers buy in here, and it's already ready to go for them. So there we go. All right, let's get stamping. Good morning. It's 4:45 in the morning, and we are waking up and getting ready to get in the cars and head to the craft fair. Here we go. We are here getting our booth number. All of our stuff we have to put away. Let's say hi.
Hi.
Our setup so far.
Mercy's right there. I parked down that way.
Wait, I'll put some later on. Wait. Oh, Dad was doing this? Oh, cute. I should have done a better job.
It's okay.
Really nice. Raw.
So we'll let it dry and, 10-15 minutes, we'll put a sealer on, okay?
So it needs to dry now, Mabel, okay?
Okay?
How long does it have to dry for?
Maybe 10 minutes. Let it dry. If it is sunny, it dries faster. Now it's coming up, so it'll dry.
It's already up.
Hi. Good evening. It's 10 o'clock on Saturday and I am exhausted. Today was craft fair day number 1 and it was such a long day. It was so fun and I'll debrief it later after tomorrow. But I'm downstairs. While I was at the craft fair, I was able to knit 4 hats. And so I wanted to run down here and sew the tags on, like sew them all up and sew the tags on because I didn't have tags with me. Excuse me. I didn't have tags with me at the craft fair, so I couldn't do them then. So I thought while I was sewing all the tags on that I would show you what I was able to make at the craft fair today. So first off, I made this purple one. Oh, and I didn't have any poms with me. So I just added a big purple pom-pom on it and my tags. So that's 1. I made a white one, 2. Now notice these ones are ribbed. I find these just fit the widest variety of people because the ribbing is so stretchy. But I'll show you why I'm pointing out that they're ribbed in a minute. And then this one, this was a favorite colorway today. And I added that palm on it. And then this one. Now, what do we notice differently about this one? It's not ribbed. I did the cuff. And then instead of starting, so the cuffs I do 1x1 ribbing. And then instead of starting the 2x2 ribbing, I guess I just started knitting. And I realized I was about halfway through the hat when I realized it's stockinette stitch instead of ribbing, but I wasn't going to rip it out. So this one is a little different. But yeah, it's not nearly as stretchy. So it would be good it would be better for somebody that has either a lot of hair or that likes a looser fitting beanie, because maybe not everybody likes a tight fitting beanie. So regardless, those are the 4 hat beanies that I got done while at the craft fair today, in addition to selling beanies. And I'm going to put price tags on them in the morning, and then I can put them out on the table at the craft fair tomorrow. So not too shabby. All right, I will hopefully check in with you guys tomorrow, Sunday, at the craft fair. It's gonna be a much shorter day because we don't have to be there 4 hours early to set up. So I'm greatly looking forward to that. This morning, well, anyways, I'll get into all this later this week when I reflect on the craft fair. But 10 o'clock, I'm going to bed. These are finished. I have to charge all my devices for tomorrow, and then I can crawl into bed. So good night, and I will see you guys tomorrow at the craft fair. All right, bye. Good Sunday morning. I just parked at the festival, got my coffee. I'm all alone this morning. My husband and my kids will be joining me later today, but yesterday I took all of my inventory with me when I left the festival, so I have it all in the back of the van, and I have to go wheel it all to my booth and set it all back up. It is about 8:45 in the morning right now. The festival starts at 10, so that should be perfect as far as me being able to get everything set up and get ready and have a breather before people start coming. So I'm going to load up everything on my little hand cart and wheel it to my booth and get set up. All right. I got everything I need for today, plus my coffee and water on my little hand cart. And we're gonna wheel it to our booth. All right, here we are in our booth. This is how I left it last night. I left the little ghosts in a jar here. My mannequins. I put my mirror up there in case it got windy. All of our empty crates. And my coffee. And now we're gonna get all set up. All right, we got the booth all set up. So behind us, we have our premium beanies and the rest of our chickens and our ghosts in jars. And then we have some drop stitch scarves and the little wine glass holders. I completely forgot to bring real wine cups, or wine glasses, but whatever. In the corner, we have our pumpkin patch. This is my favorite part of the booth. And then we've got our gnomes and our candy corn hats right there. Do you guys remember when I was knitting the candy corn hats and I made one that was way too big and I was worried that it was just too big and it wasn't gonna fit? That was the only candy corn hat that sold yesterday because an adult wanted it. So just goes to show that even when you make a mistake, somebody might want it. So I'm glad that I put that out and had one adult candy corn option. So back to the table, we've got like our fruit section here with the watermelon and the strawberries and the berries. And then where I stand, my little checkout, these are all of the acrylic hats. And so these ones, I didn't sell a single one yesterday, which is completely fine with me because I absolutely love the merino hats rather than the acrylic hats. But these are half the price of the merino ones because they are acrylic. And I really thought that people would go for those more. So I was pleasantly surprised that people wanted merinos. And then up here, we have our hair accessories. And then if I spin you over here, our big banner, we have our mirror for people to see how they look. And then we have our chalkboard that my sister did for us. And I'm about to open up the booth and sit back and knit some before it officially starts. But I thought I would show you guys what the setup looks like. It's about 9:15 and we are all ready. Okay, it's 9:26 in the morning. We are all set up. I am sitting down and we are casting on a white beanie. So let's see how many hats we can knit today. $10.40 and we finished one beanie. We're gonna put the tag on, put a pom-pom, and stick it out for sale. Alright, it's 11 o'clock. We just made our first sale. We sold a pumpkin lovey, and I finished a hat, and I'm starting on a bright pink one. It matches my sunglasses. So, yeah. It's 12 o'clock noon. We sold another hat, and I've got this far on my pink beanie. So chugging away. It is so hot and so slow. So I'm hoping sales pick up a little bit this afternoon. But we're here and we have a good attitude and it's pretty fun. So there we go. I'll check in with you later. 1 o'clock check-in. We sold a couple more things and now I started on an orange hat. So I finished the pink hat and now I'm doing orange. So chugging along. It's 1:30. I just finished our orange hat. When I get home I need to put the little leather tag on it, but it's done. Okay, it's 3 o'clock. Just finished a purple hat. I'm gonna put a pom-pom on it and put it out on the table also. So there we go. One more done. It is ridiculously hot and very slow. But my husband is on his way with the kids, and so I'm very excited to get to see them and maybe have a fresh something to drink. So, all right, bye. All right, afternoon check-in. It's 3:45. I'm working on a green beanie and still waiting for my family to come. They are stuck in traffic. So we are gonna get knitting. Are you waiting for that white car to get through?
I'm waiting for my car to get here.
I don't know if that was it.
I don't think it's that way.
How'd you guys do today?
Really good.
Good. Yeah, okay. We sell wool hats, so it wasn't really the weather for that, but.
I heard you may have gone to...
Okay, I'm just saying, I don't want you to scare him, thinking that you're gonna fly off the curb.
Yeah! Wasn't she living out of her...
Okay, here comes that other guy too, Thatcher. Yeah. Hi, happy Thursday. So I thought I would sit and talk to you guys a little bit about this past weekend's craft fair. And I'm knitting, making another hat while we talk. Yeah, so this past weekend we were at the Mountain View Art and Wine Festival in Mountain View, California. It's about an hour and a bit away, so it wasn't too bad of a drive, but it was a 2-day event on Saturday and Sunday. And Saturday, so the event didn't start till 11, but we had to be there by 7 or we forfeited our space. So we left here at about 5:30 just to be sure that we got there before 7, got our space number, found our spot, got all set up, and it was like 8 o'clock in the morning, and we just had to sit there for 3 hours. I've never been to an event where you had to be there that early or forfeit your spot. So a lot of people were kind of not happy with that. It was just a little bit ridiculous to have to be there early. And you couldn't even drive to your spot anyways. So we had to hand cart everything in anyways. So I don't know why we couldn't have come at 8 or 9. Even 9 would have been 2 hours early. But it is what it is, and it's over with, and that's fine. But that meant the actual festival was from 11 to 7 on Saturday. We had to be there at 7 in the morning, so we were there for over 12 hours. It was a long day, and the kids were there. My husband ended up taking them home at like after lunch, just because it was such a long day for them. So Saturday was definitely more busy than Sunday. I had a lot more sales than I did on Sunday, but the whole weekend I did not even do half of my goal. So I want to start out by saying I am so appreciative for every sale that I did make and every hat or item that people purchased. I am very thankful for how well I did do. I don't want to diminish that appreciation. So I am very thankful for what I did sell. And we did come out okay. So it's not like I lost money. It just, I had set my hopes pretty high and we did not reach halfway there. So that's okay. Yeah, so Saturday, I think we made like $800 probably. I have the whole amounts written down, but I didn't separate out them out by days. So Saturday was busier. After Saturday, I wasn't too happy with the numbers, and I was hoping Sunday would be a lot better, but it wasn't. So that's okay. It is what it is. Saturday, you could leave your booth, like your tent set up. So I took home all of my knitting, but I left all of my setup, like my tables and my crates, all the stuff that I didn't really care if something did happen to them. It wasn't going to be the end of the world. So getting out of there Saturday night was not too bad because I just packed up my product and headed home. And then Sunday, we didn't have to be there. It started at 11, but we didn't have to be there till 10. Well, 10, no. I wanted to be there at 10. I think I don't know. No, I got there at 9. Oh, that's right. I wanted to be ready by 10. So I wanted to get there at 9 because I had to set up all of the stuff I had taken home the day before. So I got there at 9, and then my husband and the kids joined me later at like 3 because I really needed their help for taking down the whole booth at the end of the day. And so I didn't want them to come in the morning and then have to be there the entire day and be bored. So I went in the morning on my own, and then they all joined me later that afternoon. Sunday was definitely slow. The neighbor next to me, okay, I was debating if I was going to share this or not, but I'm going to because it was something that I wasn't prepared for, and now I know better for next time. So our neighbor next to me was a henna artist, and she was not very happy this whole weekend, just with how slow it was and the fees and all that. But Saturday morning, so my daughter Mabel is 5, and as the henna neighbor was setting up her booth, she had all these signs with pictures showing, the different options you could get for henna. And Mabel kept looking at them, and she was asking her questions. And the lady was very kind to Mabel. And she was like, "Oh, honey, I'll do something for you on your hand." And so Mabel was just, every 5 minutes, like, "Mom, can she do it now? Can she do it now?" And so the lady kept saying, you know, I'm going to do something cool on her hand. I'm going to do it up good. You know, like, is that okay? And so I said, sure, that's fine. Henna wasn't something that I was going to pay for, but if the lady was offering, I don't care if Mabel wanted to get a little something on her hand. I said, only on her hand. That was her parameters to work with. So she did my daughter's hand. My daughter was over the moon, you know, with this tattoo that she had now. And then later that afternoon, the neighbor comes over to my booth and she's complaining about how bored she is and how nobody's spending money and yada yada. And she's looking at all my knitting stuff. You know, when you're at a festival like this, you go to your neighbor's booth and you chit chat, and that's what you do, and you look at their stuff. Excuse me. And so I didn't think anything of it. And then she picks out a hat, and she's touching everything, which is fine. Like, I encourage people to pick up the hats and try them on, and you have to feel how soft they are because they're incredibly soft. And so she picks out a hat, and it's a $60 hat. And she says, oh, I was thinking we could trade for your daughter's henna tattoo. And so can I have this hat? And I was so taken aback that I was just like, oh, okay. And then she walked off with it. Looking back, I probably should have said, well, we didn't agree on that. But I guess when she offered to do the henna, she was thinking in return for something, and I was thinking she was just being nice. And so I should have clarified at the beginning, you know, like, oh, are you doing it for free, or is this in return for something? So, hold on, there's a phone call coming in. Okay, so I should have clarified with her what exactly she was expecting from doing my daughter's henna. And so that was my fault for not being clear. And hold on, I'm gonna move you guys. There. But I just felt like the audacity to say I'll do something and then later go back and be like, oh, I want something else in payment for that. I don't know. It just kind of made me very resentful towards her. And I don't know what her intentions were. And I know I should have clarified at the beginning before she even did it on my daughter. But I didn't. And so the rest of the day, I'm sitting there just, you know, every time I would see her, I would be like, I can't believe, you know, da 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 da, and kind of mad at myself for not, hold on, okay, kind of just mad at myself for not, you know, saying no, that wasn't the deal. I don't know. Anyways, it is what it is. I ended up putting up my sidewall so that I didn't have to look at her because I didn't want to be grumpy. And she, yeah, I mean, she was just kind of in her own world. And I get it, but I didn't want to have to look at her because I was mad. And so I put up my sidewall. And that was that. Our other neighbors were very lovely people. And so we chit-chatted with them and they chit-chatted with Mabel. And they sold dog apparel and like silicone slow feeding bowls. Their shop name was something in, not in, anyways, I'll find it later. But they were super sweet. If I think of it, I'll link it down below. And at the end, I had those little ghosts in jars. I think I've shown them on here. I don't have any around me. I thought I had one. Okay, anyways, I have little like crocheted ghosts that I made in little baby food jars. And so I gave one to Mabel and I said, you know, go give this to the dog people. Again, not thinking that they were going to reciprocate, right? We were just being generous because Mabel gets, both my kids get a big kick out of giving people things. And so I thought it would be fun for them to give the dog people a little ghost. So they did, and then the dog neighbors gave my kids, hold on, oh my goodness, they gave my kids little bow ties that the lady had sewn for my kids' kittens. So that was super sweet. And but again, I gave them the ghost not expecting anything in return. And I think that is what made me the most frustrated with my other neighbor, was just expecting something back, I guess. I don't know. Maybe I just need to get over it. You guys can tell me if I'm wrong and if I just need to move past it. But now I know that I need to be more clear, and I need to have an agreement before we do anything like that next time. So that was the weekend. As far as expenses and income, so the last craft fair we did before this one up in Alameda, we got a hotel and we got festival food, and we let the kids do, you know, the kid events. I was trying to make it fun for the kids so it wasn't such a long day. We had all gone up in one car to Alameda. So this was 3 weeks ago now. So we'd all gone up in one car. We had the baby with us. And we spent a lot of money, as you do, on, you know, lunch. And afterwards, because we were staying in a hotel, we went out to dinner, and that was like, you know, $75 for the 4 of us. And so I made about the same amount of money, but the Alameda one, all of the extras just ate up almost all my profit. So this time I was like, we are packing lunches. I am packing my coffee. Like, we are taking nuts to snack on and bottles of water. We are not buying festival food. I told the kids they could pick out one thing to do, but my son didn't even want to do anything. He just wanted to sit in the booth with me. And my daughter, we told her one thing was her henna tattoo that she got. So, yeah, so that, we saved a lot of money that way. We did not get a hotel. Oh, and last time, because we got the hotel, then we had to pay the farm sitter, because she had to come and milk the cows and take the dog potty and all that. So this time, because my husband went home early, he was home to do the chores and he was home to let the dog out. And then because he came late on Sunday, you know, he could take care of the dog. And then the dog wasn't stuck inside the house for 14 hours a day. And I mean, if that was the case, we would have had to pay somebody. So that also had ate into our profits the time before. So this time I was like, I'm not wasting my profits. Like, I've worked too hard to make these hats and sell these hats to waste the income on corn dogs or whatever. So this time, here, let me put my knitting down and I'll open up my computer and I'll tell you guys the numbers. So my total sales this weekend was $1,380. My goal was $2,500, so we're pretty much just at the halfway mark of what I was hoping to make. But that's okay. It's still $1,300. The expenses, the booth fee was $465 plus a commission on top of that. So I spent $465 plus $60 in commission. We spent about $50 in gas, and food, I put down $50 because on Sunday I did stop at Starbucks for a sandwich. Oh, and then Sunday after the teardown and all that, it was so late and we were so tired. Teardown took forever. And so we did stop at In-N-Out on the way home. No, we didn't stop at In-N-Out. We stopped at McDonald's. Because we'd had 2 cars, and so the kids came with me and they wanted to go to McDonald's, and I was not feeling good, so they got McDonald's and I got a Diet Coke. So food was only $50 for the whole weekend. So that, after we subtract the expenses from the sales, we're left with $755 profit. Now that's not really profit because about half of that goes into the materials and all that, but we net $755. So am I happy with that? Not, yes and no. Obviously I was hoping for a lot more, but $755 is nothing to sneeze at for a weekend. And I met a lot of fun people. I passed out a ton of business cards. I got people on my email list. And so it was worth it. Yeah, I am really giving this a go. I want this to be my business. I want to be known for making beanies, or making knit things. Like, I want to be your knitting person. And so I'm not just looking at it as a hobby. I'm not just looking at it as, you know, like, oh, I made this stuff and I'm going to go sell it at the craft fair. No, like, I really want to take this seriously and be serious about this. So it was an awesome networking time. There were these two ladies that came and they recommended doing the German market there. So I did reach out to the German market host school, the people that put on this German market. And they're already full for vendors for this year's Christmas market, but they were going to put me on the backup list. So what I'm trying to say is I met a lot of people, I made a lot of connections, and I'm very happy with those connections. And I'm very happy that the people that bought from me, they all seemed very happy with what they picked out. And yeah, I love watching people feel the knits. I love talking. There were so many people that came up and they knew what yarn I was using. They're like, oh, that's Malabrigo. And oh, like, I love this yarn. And so we could talk, you know, like, oh, me too. Like, it's so much fun to knit with this yarn, you know, and yada, yada. So I always love meeting new people. There was this one man that came up and he's like, oh, you know, I've been trying to watch YouTube and learn how to knit. And so I just got out my needles and I was like, look, this is how you do it. And trying to answer his questions like right there in the middle of the craft fair. So that was fun. And I don't know how, but I feel like people really want to learn how to knit. And so I'm not sure. I have been teaching some local classes. I'm not sure how to broaden that. I don't know. That's something I'm going to be thinking about, is not only selling knitwear at markets or on Etsy, but also teaching knitting classes and getting people set up and kind of helping them on their knitting journey. Because I love teaching and I love encouraging people. So that's something also that I want to branch into, just helping people with knitting help. It was hard because the town that we were in is an hour away, so I'm not going to drive to that town, you know, to help people knit. But we'll see what that evolves into. Okay. Oh, also the weekend, it was like 85 degrees. It was ridiculously hot. And here I am selling hand knit wool beanies. So I think that played a lot into why people were not buying also. And something that really stood out to me was, so, and you'll see these in the clip videos. I'm not sure if I will have put this little intro or whatever before the actual clips of the market or after, but I kind of have two camps of beanies in my store, at my booth. I have these Malabrigo ones that are the 100% merino wool, and then I have acrylic beanies for people that want a more budget-friendly beanie, or people that have wool allergies. I wanted to have something for them. Sorry, we're all stuffed up now. I didn't sell a single adult acrylic beanie, which is crazy because those ones are my $30 beanies. And oh, somebody's coming. Hold on. You don't have to say hi YouTube if you don't want to. Do you want to show me your kitty cat? Mm-hmm. Okay, grab your kitty. Okay. Okay, who's this?
My kitty.
What's his name?
Pumpkin.
Pumpkin. Pumpkin, say hi to YouTube. Let's say hi. Hi, YouTube.
Hi, YouTube.
All right, you're gonna go back and have quiet time, bud?
One more longer.
What? I don't know. What time is it? I think there's still like an hour left. Okay.
Other cats.
Okay. Take Pumpkin upstairs. All right. What? Okay. You want to say bye to YouTube?
Bye, YouTube.
Bye, YouTube.
Yeah, bye, YouTube. What's this?
What?
Shake it.
Yep. Okay. Love you.
Love you.
Have a good quiet time.
Have a quiet time.
Sorry. So I thought people would buy more of the acrylic beanies, but the beanies that sold the best were the wool ones. Look, here's the other kitten. This one's Cider. Looks just like Pumpkin, but it's Cider. I think he's hanging out. I thought people were gonna have a hard time with the $60 price point. So the wool beanies I have priced at $60. And I thought I would get a lot of people kind of complaining about that. But they didn't. And I think people that appreciate wool that is 100% wool, you know, it's hand dyed in small batches, it's ethically and sustainably sourced. So the people that are looking for items like that, or the people that appreciate items like that, a $60 price point for something of that quality is not that ridiculous. And so those people that were attracted to those beanies were okay with paying that price. Now, I thought there would be more people that would want a $30 beanie, but I didn't sell a single one, other than the baby ones. But all the baby hats, hold on, I'm gonna move you again. I think Thatcher kicked you. Most of the baby hats that I have, except for the newer ones, are also made with acrylic. And so those are all 30. And then my new baby hats that are made with the merino wool are 40. So those are my prices. Yeah, I thought people would buy acrylic ones because of their affordability, and they didn't, which is totally fine with me because I would much rather make these wool beanies. They're just so much softer. The colors are so much more vibrant and luxurious, and I would much rather knit these ones. Excuse me. So, the weekend was so hot. I did bring my fan. I have a battery operated fan, and it was a lifesaver. I'm also going through, I think, perimenopause, and so I get hot really easy. Might be TMI, but it was hot this weekend, and there was not a lot of shade, and so people were not really wanting to buy wool beanies, I don't think. All that said, I am thankful for the sales that I made. I came home with about $755 profit, and yeah. So now it's Thursday. I have been running around this week. I've been trying to open a business bank account. I did not think it was going to be that difficult to do so, but apparently it is. Now, my son and I went to the bank the other day. Sorry about the sniffling. We went to the bank the other day to open this business bank account. We checked in at the kiosk or whatever. And I said, I'm here to open a business account. And so they said, have a seat. So my son and Thatcher and I waited and waited. Finally, somebody comes out and she says, oh, what are you waiting for? I said, we're trying to open a business bank account. And she says, well, do you have an EIN number? And I was like, no, it's a sole proprietorship. So I just used my social security number. And she said, oh, that's fine. But to open a bank account, you need to get an EIN number. And so I was like, okay. So we went home and I got an EIN number. And then a couple days later, I went back to the bank with my kids and my paper with my EIN number. And the bank, we waited for like half an hour and then had to leave because we had another appointment to go to. Hold on a second. I'm going to grab a spot of tea before I start coughing. Okay, coughing fit averted. So we waited for like half an hour and nobody helped us. I mean, after we checked in, they were like, go have a seat and we'll be right with you. Half an hour later, I was like, we gotta go. Like, we have another appointment. Oh, I had to get a new phone. So that was the second time we had gone to the bank to try to open a business account. So then yesterday, I left the kids at home with my husband and I was like, I'm going to the bank with my EIN number and with plenty of time to get this bank account open. So I go to the bank and I check in and I sit down and I wait. And finally, it's my turn. And I had taken my knitting, so I was knitting in the lobby while I was waiting. And so I step into the branch manager's office to open a business account. And I was like, hi, I came last week. I didn't have an EIN number. I'm back today. I have my EIN number. I'd like to open a business account. And she says, oh, that's great, but do you have a fictitious business name statement? And I was like, no, I don't. Last time I was here, you said I needed an EIN number. I got that, and I'm back. And she's like, oh, sorry, they should have told you. You need the EIN number and a fictitious business name statement. Fictitious name statement? Something like that. And I said, okay, how can I get that? She says, well, you have to go to the county courthouse and you have to file for this fictitious name thing. I said, okay. So at this point, it's 4:00. And so I rush over to the county courthouse and I fill out the application. I pay my $50 and they give me my fictitious business name statement. It's got the seal and everything. I said, okay. Well, then they were like, oh, do you know that you have to publish this fictitious business name statement in the newspaper? I said, what are you talking about? And they said, oh, because it's the first time you have declared your business name. You have to publish it in the newspaper once a week for 4 weeks. Then, after the 4th time, you have to wait 15 days and then go back to the county courthouse and see if they received the filing saying my business name has been published once a week for 4 weeks, and then I'm official. It's like, what the crap? Why? Why do I have to do this? I don't know. But okay, fine, I'll do it. So with this paper here with the seal, this is enough to go to the bank. But of course, by then it was 4:45 and the bank closed at 5. So I didn't get to go yesterday. This morning, the bank opens at 9. I left the kids with my husband. I said, I'm going to the bank. So I showed up at the bank this morning with my fictitious business name statement, with my EIN number. And I said, I'm here again. I have everything you've asked for. I would like to open a business banking account. She says, sure, you have everything you need. And then her computer system wasn't working. Oh, I don't know. Finally, we got it. She had to email tech support. She had to call tech support. It's not even officially done. I mean, it is, but it's not. She's supposed to call me with more details, and I'm going to sign something electronically. I don't know. It should not be this hard. But I feel like that's the story of my life right now. Sorry. I got iced tea on the way home because I was dying. I feel like the past couple months is, if something can go wrong right now, it's going to. But got my bank account, kind of, mostly. Got my little official cash zipper fabric envelope thing. And I got a debit card. So we are good to go. Kind of. I also emailed the newspaper and I paid to have my ad put in advertising my business name. I don't know what the point is, because I don't know why they can't just check and see if my business name is already taken. Like, couldn't they just check and see? And then if it's not taken, I could have it. And if it is taken, they would just tell me I have to pick a different name. I don't know. I don't know what the point is in publishing in the newspaper for 4 weeks, once a week. But it is what it is. And I will do what they say because I want to do this the right way. And I want to make this officially a business and all that goes with it. So that was my day today, and my day yesterday, and my day earlier this week. But it's done now. So I think that's all I have for you today. I'm going to put a bunch of the clips from this weekend together. And like I said, I'll either have put them before all of this, so you'll know before I'm talking, or I'll put them after this. I'm not sure. But yeah, that way you guys can see what the craft fair, how it went. And this weekend I have nothing other than relaxing. And then the following weekend I have a craft show again. It's up in Lafayette, which is in the East, the Bay Area, which is like the San Francisco Bay. So it's in the East Bay. And I'm both nervous and excited because... Oh goodness, sorry. I'm nervous and excited because my husband's not coming. And so I'm gonna have to set up with the kids all by myself. Oh, it's not gonna be fun. It's like 2 hours away, so I can't even have him come up just to help set up and then drive home. But I got it's another 2-day festival, so it's Saturday and Sunday. I got a hotel for Friday night and Saturday night because I'm not gonna try to set up by myself at like, I don't know, I'm getting a hotel. I got a hotel. I thought I would try to make it more fun for the kids since they have to stay the entire days with me, and I don't know. So the hard part, let's go back to the hard part. Okay, I love having the kids there. I love it. They love being there. The problem is, when it's just me with the kids, if they have to go to the bathroom, what do? I either have to leave the booth and just have a sign that says I'll be right back and walk them to usually there's porta potties at these things. This past weekend, my son, Saturday, the kids were going to go back home with my husband, and my son did not want to go. He wanted to stay and help with the craft fair. And he is 7 and a half, and he's very independent. He's very trustworthy. He's very logical. My daughter is 5. She threw a fit because she did not want to go either, and she wanted to stay. The problem is, the first 5 minutes that she'd been there in the morning, she's already complaining that she's hungry and she's tired and she, wants to go off and explore. She does not do well with sitting still for hours. Like, she needs to be moving. And that's fine because my husband was there and he could take her on walks. And, they could go watch the ballet expositions or whatever. And so she had fun doing that. She could go talk to the henna lady and she could go talk to the dog people. But without my husband, I was trying to explain to her that I can't walk her around. Like, my job, at the craft fair is to sit there or stand there and sell my knits. And so she was gonna be so bored, and I hated breaking her heart, you know, and telling her she had to go home with my husband, but there was no way she was gonna stay there for another 6 hours without my husband there to help me. And he had to go home to let the dog out and to do the cows. So she left kicking and screaming, and I was afraid somebody was gonna accuse my husband of stealing a child because she was having such a fit. And I told her that. I was like, you gotta stop. People are gonna think that, you know, daddy's trying to steal you. But anyways, my son stayed with me. And 5 minutes after my husband leaves, he's like, Mom, I gotta go potty. And I was like, kid, couldn't you have said that when my husband was here, you know, before he left? And he's like, oh, sorry. And so I said, I can't take you right now. You know, I gotta stay at the booth. And daddy just left. Like, you could have gone to the bathroom when my husband was there. And so he said, Mom, I can do it. I know where the porta potties are. And I was like, okay. I'm really trying to give my kids, excuse me, I'm trying to give my kids more, I don't know if the word is agency. I'm trying to let them do harder things so that they have more confidence in themselves to know that they can do hard things. But I also know it was a huge festival with like 80,000 people there. And it probably wasn't the right time to let him go to the porta potties on his own, but I did. They were about a block away. And so he knew he could walk, you know, straight down this block and then turn right, and he would go down a little ways, and there was the porta potties. And so I sent him off to the porta potties, and then I realized, shoot, I didn't even write I should have wrote my phone number on his arm or something in case he got lost. So now what can I do? Because now he's left, and I could leave the booth, but then what if I didn't see him on the way and he came back and I'm not there? So I was just kicking myself for not being a very great mom in the moment. Oh, goodness, I'm sorry. So then he comes back, and I was like, oh, you're back. Like, I'm so glad. I knew you could do it. And he's like, oh, of course I could do it, Mom. I went to the lemonade stand, and then I knew that if I just turned this way, you were right down there, and you were across from this booth, and you were next to this booth. I mean, he had it all figured out in his mind. He knew exactly where to go. And so I was like, I shouldn't have worried, but still I did, because he's only 7. So then I wrote my number on a business card. I wrote Mom's number and wrote it down, because most of the time he can tell you my phone number, but I thought maybe, you know, if he gets lost and he gets flustered, I didn't want him to not remember my number. So I put my number on a business card, stuck it in his pocket, and thought that way, you know, if he goes potty or if he gets lost wandering around, he can have anybody call me. So that made me feel better after that. But, oh, sorry, I kicked you. All of that is to say, this next festival, the kids are going to have to go to the bathroom. I mean, we're going to be there for like 12 hours again. And now every time my daughter has to go, depending on where the bathrooms are, I might have to send my son with her and have them just go as a team. You know, like, obviously he can just wait outside the porta potty, but at least they can walk together, because my daughter would not have been able to find her way back. She is like in like La La Land. She doesn't make those connections. I don't even know. Anyways, her brain is very different than my son's. And so I think at least if I send them together, they have a better chance of returning together. So the weekend the next festival is gonna be interesting. But again, somebody's coming down the stairs. I want to show the kids that we can do hard things, and that weekend's gonna be hard, but we can do it, and we'll make it fun, and we'll get through it. And hello. You gonna come back and say hi to YouTube? Come here. I was just talking about the next craft fair. Oh, get your fingers out. Is there anything you want to tell them about the last craft fair we just had? Spot and Knot. That was the name of the people. No, don't hit that. That was the name of the booth that was next to us with the dog stuff. Remember? They had a Dalmatian. That's the name of that booth. Spot in, like the letter N, Knot. K-N-O-T. I knew I'd remember it. Okay. Is there anything else you want to tell them?
No.
No? You want to say like and subscribe?
Like and subscribe.
Like and subscribe. We appreciate you. Okay, do you want to wave bye and hit the button?
Bye.